The first robber class myth, and I think this is the foundational robber class myth. This is the myth that all of the other myths are built on. America. America is the greatest nation in the universe. Okay, we're not the greatest nation in history. We're not the greatest nation on the planet. We're the greatest nation in the universe. And if there's another country on another planet in another solar system, we don't have to know anything about that country. We already know that we're better than it. And I'm not saying that our country is totally evil, but there's good things and bad things, just like there's good things and bad things about every country. Just because we're the #1 empire, military empire today, doesn't make us the greatest nation in the universe. And that's a foundational myth. I want to tell a quick story. When I was in 2nd grade, I was 7 years old. My teacher, Miss McMurray, I was the teacher's pet for some reason, but I was very, very shy. And so my teacher, Miss McMurray, asked us a question. And even the question is child abuse. She said, if a communist, a red communist, I remember back in my early 60s, it was always the red communist, came into our class and held a gun to your head and told you not to say the Pledge of Allegiance or they would, shoot you in the head, what would you do? And so I was very confident in the answer. I raised my hand, I was like this, and she's like, she called on me, Cindy Miller. I said, I wouldn't say it. And she's like, wrong! I had to go stand in the corner. And that was the first time. Miss McMurray was the first one to ever call me anti-American. So when Bill O'Reilly says it, I just said, Miss McMurray had you beat like by 45 years. So anyway, this is what we're taught. I still wouldn't say the Pledge of Allegiance if someone held a gun. I was over the corner going, I don't think I'm wrong. I think that was a right answer. Does she really want me to get my head blown off? So anyway, the second robber class myth is just born out of my experience in San Francisco. That's elections matter. Emma Goldman, one of my favorite revolutionaries, said if elections actually made any difference, they'd make them illegal. The third robber class myth is about that there is a significant difference between Democrats and Republicans. And that's in the robber class, not in the rob class, because we know that there's a significant difference in the rob class. The fourth robber class myth is it's noble to die in robber class wars. The fifth robber class myth is the Federal Reserve System cares about you. And since I love subtitles so much, a subtitle and it's either Federal or Reserve is a myth. Number 6 is it's a privilege to pay taxes to the robber class. Number 7 is health care, quality education, housing, and healthy food are also privileges. In our class, those are privileges. And we're told if we don't have those things, there's something wrong with us. But those are basic human rights. The things I just said are basic human rights that every human in this world is entitled to. Not just robber class. The 8th robber class myth is that America has a free press. A quick story about that one. I did tell something about what Anderson Cooper from CNN did to me during the Camp Casey experience. But I have an even better story than that. Once I was in Washington, D.C., and I was asked to be on Hardball. Do you guys know MSNBC Hardball?
Yep.
Chris Matthews is the usual host, and I've been on with him before, either remotely or in the studio. And, he's so funny how they call it Hardball. And so this time it was somebody named Nora O'Donnell. And so anyway, I get there and she goes, Cindy, I just want to warn you that we play hardball here. And I was like, whatever, Nora. At first I thought she was Kelly O'Donnell, so she was already mad at me because I thought she was Kelly O'Donnell, not Nora O'Donnell. But then it was taped, so she introduced me. as the woman who met with communist dictator Hugo Chavez. And then she went to break. And so during the break, I was like, you realize that Hugo Chavez is not a communist, he's a socialist. And you realize that he's not a dictator. He's been democratically elected several times. And after a CIA coup attempt that he survived because his people wanted him in power. And the last election was certified by Jimmy Carter. And, you know, at an election protection organization. And she goes, oh yeah, we talked about it, but we decided to call him a communist dictator anyway. So she was knowingly spreading propaganda. She knew it was a lie, but she said it anyway. And so when we came back, I told everybody that. You know, I said, Nora said that, and this and that, and this and that. And I explained to her and to the people, I didn't want to talk about Hugo Chavez. I didn't want to talk about Venezuela. That's not what I was on the show for. But she knew it was a lie, and she still said it. So they have production meetings and decide to lie, decide to propagandize people. And many people that watch MSNBC think that they're liberal, so that they're telling the truth. And so then finally she said, would you rather have Hugo Chavez for your president than George Bush? I said, psh, yeah.
I'd rather have Caesar Chavez.
Exactly. I'd rather have anybody than George Bush. So the next day it was all the big story that Cindy Sheehan would rather have Hugo Chavez for her president. And that's not a story. Cindy Sheehan running for Congress in San Francisco against the Speaker of the House is a story. But how many cigarettes Barack Obama smokes a day? That's not a story. You know, Cindy Sheehan saying that she'd rather have Hugo Chavez for a president is not a story. Whoever, if John's divorcing Kate, Kate's divorcing John, that's not a story. You know, what was in, you know, Anna Nicole's refrigerator when she died, also not a story. So yeah, we have such a free press. They're just a freaking propaganda tool of the robber class. So who supports? Does the robber class support the press, or does the press support the robber class, or is it the synergy, and it's just a cycle of what happens? And the number 9 robber class myth is the environment who needs it. And the 10th one is, you guys will like this, 19 Muslims with box cutters caused 9/11. Yeah. And that's almost another foundational myth. That founded the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, now Pakistan. They're telling us Osama is hiding in Pakistan now, or at least the Swat, hold on one second, or at least the Swat Valley. And I'm getting ready for Nora O'Donnell.
Who?
Nora O'Donnell. To come on MSNBC and tell us that Osama's hiding in North Korea. You laugh. You laugh, but you know, that's exactly what they do. How can they be spreading the propaganda that Iran has nuclear weapons, or they want nuclear weapons, when the International Atomic Energy Agency has been there and certified that no, they're not enriching uranium for weapons. They want peaceful nuclear power, which I'm against, but it's their country. They should be able to have peaceful nuclear power if they want peaceful nuclear power. The last national intelligence estimate about Iran said they were not enriching uranium to make a bomb. And these same people, and the extension of these people, said that Saddam was buying yellow cake uranium from Niger. And they're propagandizing us again, and many people are believing them, which is a really tragic. That's the bad thing, is they're only going to keep on doing this to us if we believe them. So 9/11 happened, and whatever you believe about 9/11, you know, anywhere from Dick Cheney was in his bunker scribbling out the plans, to, you know, the story, the official story, whatever you believe about it, 9/11 was the foundational myth of where we are today.